What's going on, everyone? It's me, your boy RMT Triple OG, and I'm back with another RMT Podcast. This is RMT Podcast Part 4. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back, and if you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing. It's free and it will majorly help me out. Thank you for like a good deed, if you will. Anyways, in my last RMT Podcast, I didn't really talk about any specific topics. I talked about this theory I had, as well as a little bit of Roman and Greek mythology, as well as Christianity. So, like I said, I didn't really talk about anything specific like I did in my RMT Podcast Part 1 and RMT Podcast Part 2. But I don't really know what to talk about for this one. I honestly, these podcasts, like I said in my I think it was my second RMT podcast. Honestly, I forgot already, even though I recorded them like an hour ago. Because I'm recording all these RMT podcasts in one sitting and then releasing them throughout the week. So I recorded like my first and second RMT podcasts like less than an hour ago, and I already forgot which one it was in. But I did say that I don't record these. That when I record these RMT podcasts, I don't read from a script or anything. I just kind of go with the flow and talk about what I know and like stuff with that, and I just talk about it as I go. On drive. Well, I'm just gonna cut this part out. Okay. So like I said, in my last RMT podcast, I just talked about like a few different things. I'm not really sure what to talk about in this one. So I guess I'm just gonna do like I did last time and kind of go with the flow. So, I should probably next week when I record the RMT podcasts for next week, I should probably like have like specific topics and stuff to talk about. And there was something I forgot to say in my last video or in the two RMT podcasts before that. If at any point I get anything wrong, I'm so sorry. Especially if it's from like something that's not Christianity, because I'm a Christian, so naturally I just know more about that than I do about other religions and mythologies. So if I get anything from Christianity wrong, then well, that's honestly kind of concerning. But if I get anything from any other religion and mythology wrong, I'm so sorry. So once I was emailing these people, this is like kind of a story. I mean, it does have to do with religion and mythology. Kind of. But anyways, I'll get on with the story. So once I was emailing these people, this actually only happened like a few months ago. Boost to bronze at any time trial. Deplete the nitrometer. So it wasn't even a few weeks ago. It was more like a few months ago. I was emailing these people. I don't really want to talk about why, and they were like saying some weird behind stuff, dude. And they were like being just rude because they were rich. I was emailing rich people. Yes, I don't really want to talk about why, but they were like being mean. I didn't know them. They didn't know me. But they were like being mean, and they were also being like really weird. They could have like, what I was emailing them about. They could have thought I was trolling them, but I don't know. But anyways, that's not the point. So they were like, because I was asking these people again. These were strangers. Like I said, it's a long story that I don't really want to get into. But I was basically asking them if me and my friend could go over to their house, which was for a $14 million house, by the way, or somewhere around there. Because they said it was $14 million, but then when I looked it up, I got actually two different results, neither of which were $14 million. One was $10 million, and the other one was $16 million. So I'm just assuming that when they paid for it, it was $14 million. Anyways, so I was asking them if I could go to their house to do something. Don't worry, it was nothing illegal or inappropriate. But they confessed to doing illegal things. I'm not sure if it was, like I said, I'm not sure if it was true. They could have just been like trolling me since they thought I was lying to them about what I was trying to do. Sorry, I'm kind of slowing down because there are cops in front of me. But anyways, back to the story. Okay, well, I got caught anyways. Back to the story. So I was emailing these people, blah, 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 and I was like, I'm a Christian. I basically was like, they figured out that I told them that I was a Christian. I think I told them I was a Christian. And I was basically asking to go to their house, into their house to do something. And they were like, well, are you Catholic? I was like, no. Well, they were like, okay. I was like, why does that matter? They go, oh, because we're Druids. We don't like Catholics. I was like, what the heck? And I didn't know what a Druid was, so I had to look it up. And I only did like a couple of minutes of research, so I could be wrong. But from what I could understand, Druids, I'm not sure what they're from, like what religion or mythology they believe, but they do have a set of gods, I think they have a set of gods. But they don't worship them. They worship like nature and stuff. So they're basically a tree hugger's religious cousin or something like that. Or the religious version of a tree hugger, whichever one you want to go with. They were like, well, we don't like Catholics. I was like, what? I'm dead. I'm gonna die. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna get busted, which honestly kind of sounds even worse. Kind of sounds inappropriate. Well, I can't turn around now. Anyways, so I was like, well, why don't you like Catholics? To go, because we're Druids. I was like, what the heck, man? And it's weird because they had asked me, because I went to an Anglican church, and I'll get to why that's important in a second if you don't already know. So it's weird. I was like, they're like, because I told them I was emailing a priest, because it had to do with what I was talking to them about, and they're like, well, so I was like, yeah, I'm emailing this priest right now. And I was, because I don't really go to, I'm gonna die. I don't really go to church anymore, but this was from when I did go to church. I don't know this priest. I just know that he works at the church I used to go to. Back when I went there was like a different sets of, there was like other priests, different priests, and not this dude. I was like, yeah, I'm emailing this priest right now, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, okay, well, what's his email? Because at some point they had asked for his email. They asked for his email. I was like, well, I'm surprised. They were like, okay. And they didn't really ask me what I was surprised about. But the reason why I was surprised is because they were asking for Anglican priest's email. And the reason why that's surprising is because they said that they didn't like Catholics. And it's surprising because Anglican, I'm not sure what it's called, but Anglicans, they're basically, the Anglican branch of Christianity is basically, alternate form of Catholicism, which is Catholics. So they were basically, trying to email, they were basically emailing another version of Catholicism. It's weird because they said that they didn't like Catholics, but I'm not sure if they realized that part. And they were like saying they're calling me stupid and everything, even though they were acting way more dumb than I was, that's for sure. Anyways, that story had, like I said, I just want to tell that story. It has a little bit to do with religion and mythology. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Man, I thought I could sit here and talk for hours about this stuff, but after just 3 podcasts, I've already ran out of stuff to talk about. Overwatch. Cason's boss. Head-to-head challenge, no thank you. Like I said, I guess I'll just have to go with the flow. And next week I'll try to have like actual topics to talk about rather than just go with the flow. I guess that's one thing I could talk about. The story of Noah's Ark. Apparently, so I've done like research on this topic. So the story of Noah's Ark, God flooded the world because we had resorted to sin for survival. And the story is fascinating because, the story of Noah's Ark. Oh great, there's a cop on me. They actually found proof and evidence that actually happened. Like, they found scientific evidence that the story of Noah's Ark happened. And that's not all. They're like, because you could say, well, where's the boat? What happened to the boat? Honestly, I'm not really sure what happened to the boat. I tried doing research on it and I couldn't get anywhere. But it's weird because in the Bible, it talks about the specific location that the boat went to after the flood. It said that it went to rest on top of a mountain that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. And if I'm correct, the mountain is spelled. It's been like a few weeks since I looked it up, and I've only ever heard of this mountain while this one time, which was while I was doing research on it. It was Mount Arrat. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Wow, that was crazy. That was a crazy accident. But it's weird. I'm stuck back here. Wait, what? I'm stuck back here. I was stuck back there. Anyways, it's interesting because the Bible says that it rested on top of that mountain after the flood, and then geologists and archaeologists and all that, they went up there to that mountain, to the top of the mountain where supposedly the ark had rested, and they found this giant, like, kind of land deformation dent, whatever you want to call it, in the ground, where it looked like there was a giant boat that used to sit there that was gone. Like, this dent or whatever had, like, the outline of a giant boat. And another thing that's interesting is all the mountain with the mountain that the Bible said the ark rested on after the flood, which is also the same mountain where this giant dent was found, is also not too far away from where the story of most of the story of Noah's Ark takes place. And that's not the evidence I was talking about when I said scientists have found evidence that the story of Noah's Ark really happened. The evidence that they found was like they found I'm not really sure how they found this evidence, but they found evidence that like geological evidence or whatever you want to call it, that an earthquake, not an earthquake. I don't really know what caused the flood, but they found geological evidence that there was a flood that was as bad as the one described in the Bible, where there was a flood that flooded the world, basically. Well, the articles I read didn't say that. They just said something along the lines of this flood was as bad as the one. This flood was the magnitude of the one described in the Bible, or something like that. I don't really know. It's been a while since I've looked up the floods. Anything about the flood. And then after the flood, obviously there's after the flood, God promised to never flood the world again, and He showed His promise in the sign of a rainbow, in the form of a rainbow. And obviously Noah and his family survived the flood and everything and all that stuff. Wait, there's a cup up there. So, yeah, they found proof that and evidence that the story of Noah's Ark actually happened. And people out there are still denying it and still denying that it's true, which just blows my mind. That's one thing about skeptics. Skeptics are so quick to say that it's all fake and stuff. And then they're like, and then when we show them, and then when we try to explain it to them, like all the stories and stuff, they're like, "Where's your proof? Where's your proof that any of this is real? Where's your proof that this happened?" And then when we show it to them, they just don't believe. Like, they think it's all fake. Just because they don't understand it. Like, they don't understand it, or they think that's impossible, so they just don't believe. But the thing is, well, there's two things. We're constantly learning new things about the solar system and about things that are impossible and realizing that they are possible. And secondly, when God is real, nothing is impossible. When God is real, everything is possible. No matter how impossible it seems, it's still possible. Because God Himself, well, He's God. He can make anything happen. And it's weird because skeptics, a lot of them are like atheists and scientists and stuff, and they base their point of view off of science. And they're like, "Oh, this is impossible. This can never happen," because they base all of their knowledge off of science, and they refuse to look at it from a different angle, like a religious angle, or like an angle where anything is possible. And they look at it strictly from a scientific angle. So, and I bring this up because science and religion and like supernatural and science, they're basically opposites in almost. They're basically opposites like 75 to 90% of the time. So as long as you strictly look at it from a scientific view, then you're always gonna believe that all the supernatural is impossible. You're basically going to believe that none of it can ever happen if you strictly look at it from a scientific point of view. And if you don't open up your mind to other views and other possibilities. Anyways, I'm kind of slowing down because there's a cop up there. And the story of Noah's Ark isn't the only thing that they found proof of. They found proof that they found proof of this army being killed. Supposedly, according to the Bible, it was killed by an angel, but it's kind of hard to explain. It's a story for another time. I'm probably gonna talk about it in my next podcast. As well as what's the other thing? There was another as well as the story of this other dude who was an atheist who set out to prove that the crucifixion of Jesus was fake, and he came back a believer, which is pretty funny. Anyways, that's actually where I'm gonna end this video. Wait, hold on. First, let me get back to my hideout. So let's do this. Events, GPS, nearest hideout. Okay, let's go back to my hideout, and then I'm probably gonna end this video. 2.9 miles away. Wait, is there? That's RPM. Wait, if I'm going like 140 miles an hour, it shouldn't take me too long to get there. Well, it should take me like a minute. If I'm correct. Actually less. Anyways, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna save those two topics to the army that was killed by an angel. And then the guy who set out to prove that the crucifixion of Jesus was fake and came back a believer. I'm gonna save those two stories for the next video. And if there's like any other religions or mythologies or anything that you think is interesting about religion, mythology, or and theology that you would like me to talk about, and anything from any religion, mythology, or theology that you think is interesting that you would like me to talk about, please let me know, and I'll try my best to talk about it in one of these podcasts. Oh no, this is not gonna well. This is not. Sorry, I'm like kind of blanking right here. This is not going to end too well. I mean, after all, I did get stuck earlier in a place that was impossible to get out of, and because of that, I got caught. But I should be able to survive. Well, maybe I will survive. I don't know. I'm not the most optimistic person. So a lot of the times I think I'm going to fail when actually I succeed. And then oh, it's going to be close. I know I've arrived at my destination. I would like to go in if that's okay. There we go. That was close. Anyways, so like I said, I'm going to end the video here. So remember, if you liked what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing. It's free and it will majorly help me out. Think of it like a good deed, if you will. Anyways, until next time, goodbye.